You know, before Boost, our phone bill was obscene. So we switched to Boost and got lines for the whole family with unlimited gigs for a much more family-friendly price. It's nice to have a phone bill that doesn't require parental controls.
Your family deserves better. Get 4 lines for only $25 per line, each with unlimited gigs. Plus, get up to 4 free Samsung J7 perks with 6 months of Hulu, where you can stream all the shows everyone is talking about. All on the super reliable and super fast nationwide network. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dez, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
Yo, turn me up in my headphones, though. And let me know if I'm getting told. What's good, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Dev McMillan. And I'm in the building with my brothers, B. Austin and Jimmy the Blueprint. Back
yes, sir.
in the fold. Final Four set. The NBA playoff race is heating up. And Philly, surprisingly, is represented in both. Gus Griffin's going to join us for a minute to give his investment tips on the Final Four. And we'll talk a little NFL free agency as well. So settle in. Keep it locked right here. And if you want to get in on the conversations, you know the drill. Make sure you join us right now in that JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. Or you can join us on Facebook, Twitter, at War Room Sports, or you can join us on the GroupMe app. That's the War Room Sports Game Time group on the GroupMe app. Get that on your phone if you don't have it. You can also call us directly in about 15 minutes. We open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. The number is 323-410-0012. One last thing before we get the conversation started. You guys got to make sure you join us during the week, not live, but check us out when we're not live on the air. You can hit up the archive episodes of our show on the website at warroomsports.com, the War Room Sports mobile app, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, most other places you get your great podcast listening on. So what's going on, brothers, man? Another week in America, man. Now your man Trump got his past exploits on TV, giving us way too much information, man. What's going on in America this week?
Yo, man. All I need to say is shout out to Big Oogie.
Yo, shout out
before we get started.
Waterhead, Black J, and Big Oogie. I'm just out here trying to live life like Tyrone Hankerson Jr., dog.
The Barry and stuff. Yo, PhD and man Primo from Gangstar. Rest in peace, Google, since Snaz wouldn't say it.
I'm out here trying to get that Tyrone Hankerson Jr. money, dog.
Word. Yo, Ball been getting drizzaged on Twitter. He's a superstar now, though. I mean, you steal a little money and you get a little fame.
Yeah, he gonna be on big.
Yeah, shout out to
money. That's because money ain't the root of all evil. You know what it is. Shout out to John Jack.
No doubt.
Yo, I don't know. We shot him after that. My man just got a domestic violence. He killed his baby mom.
Yeah, pretty much.
Allegedly.
Me too.
I mean, hypothetically, OJ voice.
Yeah, but shout out to the alma mater and the president of the alma mater, who's another step closer to losing his gig, because this is something that they knew about for at least a year. This whole embezzlement thing. I mean, these days you have to be transparent. You got to let people know that, because the students out there who can't get the money they want, they don't know that some employees stole it. You know what I mean? But you didn't tell them.
Yeah.
And now, the distrust at the university is going to keep growing. He already had that whole thing with the housing situation a few weeks ago when he was telling people, look, you know what I mean? You ain't got a house, that's on you. Yeah, you ain't got nowhere to stay, that's, it's not my problem.
Why was board drawing like that?
Yo, I don't know. My man had, and shout out to Tyrone Hankerson, man. Superstar Tyrone Hankerson. My man had fur coats, Range Rovers, standing out in front of cribs that looked like Georgetown. He had so much money. You know, you have so much money, you just get bored. This man had photos of himself like leaping into the air, looking mad sus, just because he had enough money to get the photo taken. He had photos on the beach, photos in Cuba with little Stockton shorts on. My man was drawing.
Yo, though here's the thing though, right? I don't know how true it is, but I was listening. He won Donkey today on TBC, and they said on there. Now I don't know how true it is. They said my man had his own like videographer that traveled with him.
Wow.
that's actually more. That's actually becoming more common than one may believe because of social media being what it is. A lot of these noodles and drawing people are hiring lackeys to hold cameras to catch their best angle and draw.
Drawing. Like, if I want to take a pic, I take a pic.
Yo, it's more common than
else?
I'm telling you.
But B, how much money did the dude have? I mean, he stole like $429,000 from Howard. Like, he had to have some other,
but we don't know all his
avenues. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. He had to have some other hustles going on.
That's reporting he stole.
Right. They
probably don't want to get a real number.
Speaking of that,
good point.
When I ran into Kevin Hart in the hotel gym in Dallas, he had some Asian boy following him around with a camera. I mean, his life is entertainment, so that's a little bit more.
Who's Kevin Hart? He's a
we know how he do it on
regular cat. I'm talking regular.
Yeah. I mean, I guess these days people are like, you pay for me to go somewhere, I'm there. If you need me to carry it.
Here's the thing, dog. We all travel, go play. You tell me, yo, take a picture for me, dog. All like, yo, have on video for this kind of drug.
Jimmy getting tow truck, but Jimmy know he gonna have a videographer when he go to Europe in a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, he mad. He mad. Jimmy just mad he didn't think of it first.
No, dog.
Yo, but
if I did, OG voice, be the least I hire for my job.
All right, but if Jimmy send back a photo with him leaping in the air like a ballerina, though, we're gonna have some issues, man. All right, man. So let's get into this show because we got the homie, Gus Griffin, waiting on the line. So before he comes on, I'm going to let you guys know that Hot Topics and Gus's segment is brought to you by MyBookie.com. That's right up his alley. Hey, all right, real quick, family. Let's talk turkey and how much of it you can make investing at MyBookie. Since the Final Four is here, if you haven't checked them out yet, this is the best time to do so. Lay down some dough in the biggest games in college hoops while you still can. Join us and thousands of other online players investing at mybookie.ag. Again, mybookie.ag, not .com, .ag. You tired of getting the runaround when it's time for a payout? That's why we urge you to join MyBookie. No ass betting. You win, they pay, fast, and without any hassles. Wasting your time investing anywhere else. They even have in-game live investing, so you can place investments after tip-off, kickoff, face-off, etc. Join now, and MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 50% bonus. But to do that, you got to use promo code WARROOM, all caps, WARROOM, to activate this offer. So visit mybookie.ag today, play, win, and get paid. All right, so let's get Gus on the line with us so we can talk about Final Four. Gus, what's going on, good brother? You in the war room?
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm all right.
Looking for
comeback week.
You did. What's your record for the tournament now? You did pretty well last week.
I'm at 5-6-1. I was 3-1-1 last week. Had I paid attention and saw that Michigan had dropped to 3.5, I would have won that. That was my push at 4. But so I had a good week.
Hey Gus, I had a quick question for you, Gus.
do you travel with your own personal videographer? We're just trying to take some surveys.
Oh,
research.
As bad as I was in football, hell no.
Guys, like I don't want anybody to know my whereabouts.
No,
there will be no photos,
no.
None of that.
No, not me. Not me.
All right, so let's get into the Final Four real quick. And before that, because you got to pick for the NIT title game, which is Penn State -4. Who you liking in that game?
I'm taking Penn State, and it's not a recency thing. I mean, if you look at how they shot the lights out Tuesday night, you know they would have beat a lot of teams in the big tournament the way they shot Tuesday night. But I just think that they played the Big 12 tournament at Madison Square Garden, and they won 2 games there. So for shooters, for teams that are really relying on that 3-point shooting, familiarity is a big thing. It's a huge thing.
Right.
And so I'm taking them and laying the 4 against Utah.
All right. We even get NIT action for you guys. What other show does that? All right, so let's go to the big dance. We got, of course, Michigan versus Loyola Chicago. That's a shocker. And Villanova versus Kansas. So we got Michigan and Villanova -5. Who are you taking in both of these contests?
Taking Michigan. Loyola's obviously exceeded expectations. I had them getting to the Sweet 16, but I didn't have to get them to the Final Four. I think the thing is teams of Loyola's ilk, so to speak, whether it's VCU, George Mason, even way back in like 79, Penn, University of Penn, when they make a run, usually it ends in that semifinal game. And so that's who I see the same thing happening here. They've had a hell of a run, but I think Michigan's going to take care of them.
All right, so it's about to strike midnight on Cinderella. So on the other side of the docket, you have 2 number 1 seeds, Kansas and Villanova. What are your thoughts on those?
I'm taking Villanova laying the 5. Not crazy about it, but that's what I'm going to do. The one thing about Villanova, of the teams that heavily rely on the 3-point shot, very, very few of them play anything close to what the defense Villanova plays. They didn't shoot well against Texas Tech, a good team. They didn't shoot well at all. They got over 20 offensive rebounds, but it shows me that they don't need that dagger to beat good teams. Now, if they're making the dagger, they're going to blow you out. All right, but they don't need, and I can't see them shooting as poorly as they did from 3-point land 2 games in a row. So I think Villanova's going to win, and I'll lay the 5.
All right, so that means next week we'll be here talking about your pick between Michigan and Villanova. So we look forward to that. How's your week been before we get you out of here? Everything good?
Good.
Get that victory, baby.
Go. It's been good. I'm working on a column that I should get to you by this weekend. It's on it's going to be called "How Baseball Became the Black Litmus Test and Why I Don't Give a Damn." I think it'll be a relatively interesting piece.
All right. Well, we look forward to reading that and spreading that out to all the listeners. As usual, Gus, thank you for your time, and we will be. We're gonna have to do social media posts. For your pick for the championship game. Or is that?
I'll get it to you.
Yeah, because that's going to be on Monday.
That's going to be Monday. I'll get it to you Sunday or something.
We'll put it out that way. Or if you get the column out to us before that time, then we'll just throw it at the bottom of that as well.
Cool.
All right. So thanks for your time, and we will talk to you later.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, no problem. That's Gus Griffin. War Room Sports writer and investment. What should we call it? Investment banker,
analyst. Investment analyst.
All right.
Yeah, he's an investment analyst.
Because we don't do that other thing. We don't do that Rose thing. We invest. We don't do that other thing. All right. So it's been a busy week, man. And before we get into everything else, first of all, shout out to MLB opening day. I was trying to keep tabs on the Phillies game before we got on the air. Was actually listening to it on Sirius. But yeah, this is the first time in all 30 teams will be playing on opening day. So shout out to that as well. Some of the new rules are in effect. You only get a certain amount of visits to the mound. They're trying to speed up the game. So, little things here, little things there. But we'll be talking about that as the season progresses. Everybody call in and let us know what you think your team is going to do in Major League Baseball this year. But for now, let's go on to the NFL just a little bit, because in the NFL we had some rules that I know you guys, we do these type of things.
You getting told. Andy Told is present.
Turn you up on
Andy
your headphones.
Told.
You're sounding crazy right now.
This boy here.
Yeah, the NFL
right, so-
NFL free agency is going nuts. Go ahead, Dev.
It definitely is. The free agency and the rule changes is what I was trying to say. I don't know if anybody understood what the hell I was saying. But, speaking of free agency,
Andy Toe did.
Huh?
Andy Toe understood.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were saying he still understood. But speaking of free agency, man, there's a team in the NFC out west that's tooling up to destroy everybody and dethrone our Philadelphia Eagles. The Rams have signed a 1-year deal with Ndamukong Suh, so their interior line consists of Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. We know they already in free agency picked up Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters to go into the secondary. Now they're trying to work on prying Odell Beckham away from the New York Giants while they stand pat on the decision to whether or not to pay him or trade him. So B, what are your thoughts on the Rams? Do you think this is a dream team situation, or do you think they'll be able to put this type of talent together and just run the table on the NFC this season?
I'm afraid. I'm very afraid, because while Aaron Donald is everything at D tackle, all world, and Ndamukong Suh is an underachiever who is actually more talented and playing beside a guy who gets all the accolades, I have a feeling we're going to see an Ndamukong Suh that we have not seen maybe ever, and that I am fearful of. And then you have two guys on the corner that basically
you can't say maybe
offense.
ever, though. There were some seasons where dude dominated to the point there's no way we could see better than that, can we?
Yeah. When because he's never played with another lineman like that, like Aaron Donald, and their outside rushers are actually underrated. They're DNs, and so now you're talking about Ndamukong playing a guard or a center head up 1-on-1, which is something that he has rarely ever done. Even when he was dominating, he was beating double teams. Now he's not even going to see those double teams on a regular basis. So I think we could see record sack numbers for him from the interior. That's my fear. And then when we go to the edges, it's two brothers that really don't think of themselves as defenders, but more as offensive players who get to hit people, which is Talib and Peters. Their whole thing is, I'm banking on the fact that my D-line can get home, so there's only so many routes that you can run before time's up and the ball got to come out. So they're going to be ball hawking. They will be susceptible to the double move and the big play, but I expect both of them to come away from this season with a minimum of 6 picks each. And that's scary.
Yeah, I mean, they're shaping up to be a scary bunch anyway. I already thought the Rams were a top 3 team in the NFC.
You're already good.
Yeah, like last season. And, being 100% real, still in the euphoria of winning the Super Bowl,
I didn't think the Eagles were the best. I still thought the Saints were the best, and I was kind of glad that the Eagles were able to avoid that smoke with the luck that Minnesota had versus the Saints in that divisional matchup. So the Rams, getting to see them up close in a very close game with the Eagles, like I felt they were a team that was just as good. And, if the ball would have bounced in a different way, like they could have been playing on Super Bowl Sunday just as easily as the Saints or the Eagles. So with them making the improvements that they're making, like I'm hoping for a dream team scenario. But right now, like I'm not seeing that. Like it doesn't matter. Like those kind of names scare you. No matter if we've seen in the past that kind of stuff kind of backfires on you sometimes. I don't know, because the point was with this team, the team was already solid. You know what I'm saying? When the Eagles did their little dream team thing, the season before, they weren't the greatest team. They weren't one of the best teams in the league. The Rams are already that. So this is just them just putting it all out there and going for it. And so far it does look a little bit scary.
They really only have one weakness on the defensive side of the ball, if you can even call it a weakness, and that's linebacker. The second level, like you're not going to be able to throw the ball effectively down the field and intermediate. You're going to have to pick on the linebackers in the middle of the field because you ain't running the ball and you ain't throwing deep. So that defense is scary. I still would give Minnesota the edge just because they've had the time together to gel, and there's a lot of strong personalities on that Rams defensive unit. But if they play to their level of talent and ability, cheese, Louise, Papa Cheese.
Cheese, Louise, Papa Cheese, huh?
Shout
All right,
out,
so, I told you
Miller.
that if there was going to be a trade right now, they would be the front runners. They've inquired to the New York Giants about Odell Beckham Jr. The Giants haven't outright said that they wanted to trade him, but they are listening to offers, and they said it would take at least 2 first-round picks for anybody to pry Odell Beckham away from them if they decided to trade him. So if you were the Giants at this point, what would you do, first of all, before we even talk about where he could end up? Would you pay him? He obviously wants to be the highest paid receiver in the league. He wants to be one of the highest paid players in the league, barring position.
You got
or would you ask for this trade?
No, you have to trade him for a couple reasons. First of all, he's a female, so he's emotional. And as much as we like to say, hey, it's just business, he's taking it personal that the Giants are even entertaining trade offers and calls for him, with him being by far and away the best player on their team. So now you got a malcontent, feminine, attention-grabbing, disruptive diva receiver who's the most talented on your squad. You're nowhere near close to winning. You got to leverage him into multiple draft picks to begin your rebuilding effort. There's no point. I think you got to trade him, and you got to trade Eli. Send Eli where he can go out the pasture in another 2 or 3 years, and leverage Odell Beckham as an asset into multiple draft picks. You have to. He's going to be discontent. You're not going to give him that all-world $20 million guaranteed contract a year. You're not going to do that. So you're going to make him play on the 5th year of his rookie deal. There's no telling what dude will do in terms of.
Well, he said he's not going to play. He said he's not going to show up if he doesn't get a contract.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
He's
get him up out of there.
He's allegedly prepared to hold out if he doesn't get a contract. So, I mean, I can understand the quandary that they're in. You know what I'm saying? It's difficult. I mean, and then I guess it depends on, because first of all, I think
2 first-round picks. Like, we know how good he is, but 2 first-round picks for a wide receiver is a crazy ransom at this point, and it's very tough for anybody to want to.
Wide receiver, though.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
It's crazy because two first-round picks, that's usually quarterback ransom. Either, a good quarterback, or in most cases, you're trying to move up to draft your quarterback, so you give up these types of, picks. But, like, for a wide receiver, I think it's going to be difficult to get a team.
Absolutely.
But, that's how you negotiate, though. You ask high and land somewhere near there, maybe.
But Dev, there's a sucker born every day, and some of them are GMs in professional sports. So I think because of you'll find someone who's going to trick themselves into believing that it's a good idea because of the attention it draws, the merchandising, the ticket sales, the ability to leverage his stardom, his fame, his femininity for the benefit of your fan base, particularly your millennials and younger. So there's a GM that's going to be dumb enough to do it. Somebody stupid is out there, man. Trust me.
We shall see. That's a lot to ask. Like Jimmy said, that's a wide receiver we talking about.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean,
it's
sort of like I said about in the group chat earlier. Like, there's always some team out there that's going to say YOLO and just let their hands go and say, "I'll do it." There's always somebody that's going to be a huckleberry.
Yeah. I mean, and if it is, it would be a team like the Rams, though. Like a team that's like, man, we left this season thinking we were a couple of pieces away. Boy, did we just add some pieces. We add this one more, then we're going to be the favorite. Like with what they've already done, if the Rams, if they're not already the favorite, if they added an Odell Beckham, like they're going to be clearly the favorite in the NFC and maybe in the whole NFL. So you can understand teams like that going for it when it's time to go for it. But if you have, some rebuilding teams, which are most of the teams that have those kind of picks, like come on, you can't give that up for a wide receiver in the middle of a rebuild. You just can't do that, man.
I think the best comment is you shouldn't give that up.
Yeah, shouldn't.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Skyview in the chat room. He said Ndamukong Suh going to the Rams will be the equivalent to Reggie White going to the Packers. Blasphemy. I don't think it'll be that good because when Reggie White went to the Packers, Reggie White was still one of the most dominant players in the NFL. And Ndamukong Suh is basically in the midst of what's being perceived as a fall-off. Now, like B said, he might go somewhere where he has the best help on the interior that he's ever had. He might have the biggest chip on his shoulder that he's ever had because of the perceived fall-off, and he might have a dominant-type season. But I don't think it could be the equivalent because the Rams will be in a position right now where they know what he was, but they don't exactly know what they're getting. The Packers knew exactly what they were getting when they got Reggie White because he was still that good. So yeah, could be.
Someone who is friendly with the Orioles.
But I don't think we could say that now. Like, we could be saying that in hindsight. But, if he does ball out, I'm pretty sure, Skyview, he going to take credit for saying it now. So we'll mark it down that you said it early, Skyview. But just right now, as it stands, like, I don't think there's much of a comparison as he's being sent over there. All right, so I was talking a little bit earlier about the rule changes. Some of the more controversial rules got tweaked a little bit. There's going to be a 15-yard penalty for lowering your head to initiate and make contact with a helmet. Does this sound any different than what they were doing?
It just sounds like the further illegalization of tackling.
Yeah, but playing devil's advocate here, like, can you Like, is leading with your head the best way to tackle? Like, can you not tackle if you don't lead with your head?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you can't make the big hit that we all want to see.
You can't kill a dude, make him tell the truth.
Yo, I don't even understand what the rules are at this point.
Yeah, because for me, it doesn't specify that this means offense and defense. Or let me say defense and offense, because it's always meant defense. But to me, the language sounds like it might, because it's just saying players lowering their heads to initiate contact with varying levels of contact, they're going to get a 15-yard penalty. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of times that the ball carrier on offense sees someone coming and they lower their head. So are we going to be throwing penalties on them as well? That's the part that I don't understand.
Yo, if that's the case, how are you going to play running back in the NFL? Yo, how can you play running back without lowering your head and your pad level? Would you just going to stand up and run into the line and let people tee off on your chest? Come on, man. Yo, this don't make no sense.
Yeah, my bad. Y'all there?
Yeah.
I'm here.
I thought you was about to say something. But
no, I was muted for a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't even understand what the rules are at this point. They might just say flag football.
Well, they're saying not only could it cost you 15 yards, it could also, like the NCAA's targeting rule, lead to an ejection. But that's going to be subjective, I think, because these are the questions that they aren't answering. It's like, how strictly are these officials going to enforce this? Like, what has to be done to lead to an ejection? That's the part that's not being explained. So I guess we'll see some further detail on these rules a little bit later. They've also revised the catch rule, because we know that's probably the most controversial rule in football. So now you don't have to survive the ground for it to be considered a catch. So in instances like Calvin Johnson, Dez Bryant, Jesse James this past season, all of those would have been a catch. Now, I thought that I understood the catch rule. So I didn't complain as much about the catch rule as most other fans. Like, most of those plays were pretty cut and dry to me. You know what I'm saying? If you have to survive the ground, most of those players did.
You were being an objective analyst and diving in and dissecting the rule, versus someone who is thinking emotionally and has a rooting interest in the result of the play.
Right. I mean, but obviously those voices were loud enough because, you know, they've changed the requirement to quote unquote survive the ground. So now we're going to see a bunch of quote unquote catches where people hit the ground and the ball's bobbling all over the place and fumbling all over the place, and they're still going to be calling them catches. So this is just going to confuse fans even more. Like I said, I thought that I understood the rules, and, you know, a lot of those plays, you know, I could see exactly why they weren't called catches. I even thought that the Clement catch in the Super Bowl was a little bit suspect because he caught it, but as he went to adjust the ball, it started moving around in his hands, and I think he stepped out by the time he gained control of it. On the other hand, the Ertz play, to me, within the scope of the rules, was a perfectly good touchdown because he caught the ball, turned, made 3 steps, and a dive, which is 2 football moves, maybe 3 since he turned while he was running, then dove into the end zone, and then the ball popped out as it hit the turf in the end zone after he had already crossed the plane. That was cut and dry touchdown to me. So I personally think that they're just going to be confusing fans even more, especially those of us who kind of understood what the rule was prior to now. So we'll see how that goes. They're going to also be getting permission for the command center to eject players. So what this means is the senior vice president of officiating can now, those are the guys who watch the games from New York. They can now order the ejection of a player who's been penalized for a non-football act, such as punching or fighting or something like that. So I'm assuming the point of this is if the referees on the field didn't see this and these guys see it in their replays from New York, now they can throw people out of the game from their comfortable office chairs. That's kind of crazy. The touchback, it's they did it last season. It's going to be permanent now. The touchback is going to be at the 25-yard line for kickoffs. There will be no point after attempts at the end of regulation. So, most of the time somebody scores and the game's over, but they're required to kick that meaningless extra point or something like that. I don't think anybody cares about that rule except for the bettors, because that 1 point could be, that could make or break the spread.
Vegas got to speak up.
There's something that they put on the table. They haven't done anything yet, but it's about hiring head coaches who are in the playoffs. I think they're trying to hate on that practice and try to make teams wait, but they've tabled it. They've also tabled video on the sidelines. So it's, in 2018, they're going to continue to ban the use of video by coaches and players during games. Shout out to Bill Belichick. And one rule that they've taken away, the 15-yard pass interference, they put on the table. I know Jimmy would have appreciated this if he was still watching football. They put on the table that they were going to change it to the college rule where it would be 15 yards for pass interference and not a spot foul like it's been, but they withdrew it. So pass interference is going to remain a spot foul. I don't understand that. That would have been the best rule change that there was, because I think, that is such a momentum changer. And half of the time, I'm not saying, it's always a bad call, because sometimes dudes are down there mugging people, but half of the time, or maybe a little bit less than half of the time, it's a terrible call. And on, deep throws, you're giving people 40 and 50 yards for a questionable call, even if it's a great call. Like no penalty in football should be determined by how strong your quarterback's arm is. You know what I mean?
As written in Sports the Book, the only question I have is, when's somebody going to sign Eric Reed? That's pretty much all I want to say.
Yeah, he's next.
True.
He's next on the, Kaepernick can't get a job. His homie Eric Reed might be right after him. So, no, that would have been the best change, because pass interference, as Jimmy has alluded to several times and on broadcast, in articles, and in Sports the Book, it's probably like the worst rule in sports, not just professional football. It's the worst rule in sports, man. At least if it's not, it's top 5. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if it's not
agree.
big, he's the closest
I agree.
one. All right, so those are your NFL rule changes. So we'll see how all of this stuff plays out during the regular season. In ball in the family news, Chino Hills High School won the California State Championship without LaMelo Ball. We talked last week about those guys making a fourth quarter rally to get themselves into the final. They actually pulled out the win. And if y'all remember, a year ago, LeVar Ball said the program would go from sugar to ish after LaMelo graduated. And then that sped up when he totally pulled LaMelo out of school because he and the coach weren't seeing eye to eye. So how good of a coach, must this guy be? Because if LeVar thought that the talent level was bad enough for the team to just totally stink just because LaMelo leaves, and this coach comes in, doesn't listen to LeVar, LaMelo rolls, and he leads them to a California State championship. Like, first of all, how vindicated must this guy feel, and how good of a coach must he be?
If I'm him, I am like trolling ungodly. Like,
you had to be petty.
You
had to just turn into a teenager,
I'm texting VAR. I'm saying I'm giving him a thank you when they interview me for the news. I just want to thank LeVar Ball. Like, I'm going complete troll mode.
troll him. I think it's completely hilarious. It's almost as funny as Jello declaring for the NBA draft. That's how.
Yo.
Stop hating on Jello. You're gonna be an NBA legend. You heard it here first. But no, speaking of that, B, Jello went out and scored 72 points right after he declared for the NBA draft. Now, Pete, a lot of people think there's some conspiracies out there that LeVar staged this whole thing. Because, of course, the 72 points didn't come in the major division game where they play against older professionals. This came in
against high school kids.
The Triple B challenge games where, the guys are basically anywhere from 15 to 16 to 20 years old. No, but B, all right now, you're saying that, and I understand that because that has to be pointed out. It has to be pointed out because you do have a lot of people out there who believe everything. And there's still people out there saying, man, look what the ball boys over there doing to grown men. They really haven't had great games against the actual grown men yet. LiAngelo averages about 15.5 points in the real league games, which isn't terrible by any stretch. But in these Triple B challenge games against the high school age guys, like this is where he and LaMelo just totally light cats on fire. So he declared for the draft, went out in the Triple B game. And some of these conspiracy theories might make a little bit of sense because LeVar knows what he's doing. We know he's a master marketer. So he may have, set this game up on this date, said we're going to announce this, and then I want you to go out there and just light these dudes ablaze. LaMelo actually had 36 or 38 points in the game as well, so I don't think anybody shot the ball except for the Ball brothers during this performance. Now, like I said, it needed to be said that it wasn't the high division game, but B, when people have games like this, you and I are both on the record of saying that kind of game is impressive no matter what level of basketball you're playing on because it still takes a lot to score those games. You still got to make the buckets. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and he's playing.
So you're not impressed at all?
He's playing against guys his age. He's not playing against the grown-ass men, but he's playing against guys his age.
Right. I mean, some of them might be his age. Some of them are younger. But at the same time, he just left high school too. So and he did this to American high schoolers as well because his high at Chino High was 72 points. So
I'm not mad at it to say that it's not impressive because I'm on record as saying I saw somebody far and away more talented score 81. And as I said, if you score 81 on dead people, I'm impressed. So it's an impressive feat. I just don't think it translates into anything with regard to the NBA because that's not the type of talent he's going to see or be faced with in
but you're trying to translate 72 points. Okay, he's not going to be Kobe Bryant, but that doesn't mean I don't know because he hasn't played on that level, but from what I can see, there seems like there's worse players in the NBA than LiAngelo Ball. I mean, he ain't going to go to the Lakers like his dad think he's going to get all three of them on the Lakers, but I don't see why he can't get a shot in the league.
What position is he, Dad? What position?
He'd be a slow shooting guard. He'd be a slow shooting guard or a small forward.
He's going to play basketball player.
He can shoot. There's always room in the NBA for somebody that can shoot.
He definitely can shoot. He can't. He can't defend. He can't defend us.
Here's the question, though. Here's the real question: is he going to get drafted, or is he going to make a team?
I think getting drafted might be a stretch, especially because of the route that LeVar had him take, and it might not be just because of the route. You know, there's a lot in Jello's. You know, it's a lot in his folder that could be a turn off to teams. First of all, they're going to think about his character. You know, that's going to come up, you know, with the thing in China. They're going to think about the fact that he left UCLA. They're going to think about the fact that his father is LeVar Ball. So the fact that he isn't as talented as Lonzo, or he isn't as talented as the dudes who are going to get drafted, even if he was talented, you know, there could be a situation that even if he was talented enough to go in one of the 2 rounds, he might not, just because of the extra baggage that he's bringing to the table. So, Jimmy, if I were to answer your question, I would say, okay, in a 2-round draft, I think he's good enough to get drafted, maybe in the 2nd round, but it doesn't really – I wouldn't be shocked if he wasn't because of all the stuff that I just named. Because people are probably looking at him like he's not worth the trouble of LeVar Ball. He's not worth. But then again, we've seen LeVar don't really love him that much, so LeVar probably wouldn't even bother his team if he got drafted.
The crazy part is LeVar said that's his favorite son. He said out of the others, he said, he really don't bang with LaMelo or Yamin. He said that Jello's his favorite.
He's saying that because it's his turn to get drafted. It's time for him to big him up.
He lying.
We know he don't love this boy.
He lied. Listen, here's my thing though. Here's my thing. Is it going to be a team out there that's going to be clout chasing and just draft him at the end of the 2nd round just for the to get all the cameras and get attention
for the
to their
boost
team?
For the boost and attention real quick.
Exactly.
Like they did Michael Sam and then cut him.
Pretty much. Be a nut ass team, somewhat like the Knickerbockers. Oh no!
Shout out to Phoenix. Shout out to Phoenix. Shout out to the Hawks. Let me stop. Ben Simmons, we piling on the Hawks this week, man. That's why they're gonna beat the Sixers tomorrow. I'm telling you.
I mean, they are in the A. You get him down to A, get some attention to the A. Get him on that team. Where had the Knicks trying to get some attention in New York. The Knicks are back.
Well, that's not good because you know what? Whoever drafts him might get another prize. They might get Lonzo because remember, Papa Ball said if the Lakers don't take all of his boys, Lonzo's not re-signing with them. So somebody might draft him just so they can get Lonzo. They're like, look, this is something we got to do. We'll give him a roster spot, keep him on injured reserve all the time, as long as his brother, come down here.
Shout out to Chris.
So it's a lot to this story, man. It's a lot of reasons why he could get drafted, a lot of reasons why he might not get drafted. But we'll see. But what do y'all think about the conspiracy theories? Y'all think it was a setup by LeVar for him to announce and then go out and stomp the heads of some Lithuanian teenagers?
Nah.
I don't even necessarily think. I don't think it was that type of conspiracy. I think the games from the jump are stacked to the advantage of the Ball brothers. Like I think from the gate, LeVar had something to do with the players on the team, with the coaches of the teams. I think there's a bias from the jump, so you don't even have to look at an individual game to say, oh, this game is rigged. I think the whole season been rigged.
Listen, man.
Beyonce ain't gonna never get them balls no credit.
Yo, shout out to VAR for being able to even do that. Like about a year or two ago, we had no idea that he would have the leverage to rig a whole professional basketball league. So what you're saying is my man put himself in position somehow, some way to rig an entire professional basketball league. So salute to him for that.
Jimmy, you sound impressed. You sound impressed with the death of competitiveness.
I mean, it doesn't competitiveness. It depends upon what you're saying about competing. My man is trying to put food on his family, and he's like, look, I'm gonna leverage this. I mean, he's basically the Kardashians of basketball. He's figured out a way, like the mama has in the Kardashians.
Yo, that's not a good thing.
I mean, maybe it's not.
For the stick about it.
But maybe it's not. But do I really care? Like, am I really tuning in to watch Lithuanian basketball?
Yo, are you really trying to see the Jersey Generals play the Harlem Globetrotters every night?
Yo, I don't want to see that either. I don't watch that. My point is, what do I care if he goes to Lithuania and ruins an entire league? Who cares?
Ruins an entire country.
He does not care. I'm just giving a fuck. I don't care either.
Skyview in the chat room, back to the catch thing. He said I could care less about the Cowboys, but Dez's was a catch. That wasn't no catch. And then he also said a lot of these guys might as well make a statement. I'm declaring for the G League. They should, though. That's the thing. Like, that should be a thing. And another thing, what I wanted to ask you, B, when we were talking about, the 72 points and who he scored it against, hey, if there wasn't a rule that these guys had to be, a year out of high school to get drafted, hey, a bunch of guys who scoring 72 points on high schoolers will be getting drafted to the NBA. So I was like, what's the difference from my man Jello? He's just doing what he's doing, Like, that's who VAR putting in front of him, and that's who he gonna kill. He Anyway, let's get to the stat of the week real quick. And this is another stat for, the folks out there who haven't been trusting in the process too much. Sixers are getting a lot of press lately, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in our basketball segment. But just to throw a little teaser out here, here's a stat of the week for you guys. First of all, I throw a question out there. Where do you rank the Sixers starting lineup, throughout the whole NBA? Where do you guys y'all don't have to answer that. That's rhetorical. That's for the fans and the listeners to answer.
That's a good question.
Yeah. And what'd you say, B? You said -4?
Is that also
-4
for the blunt-headed fly ladies and prisoners?
That's what you're ranking their starting lineup? So you're saying it's terrible?
Nah, it's not terrible.
Yo, something tells me.
Is it near the top of the league, though?
I would probably rank it between 12 and 20.
Okay, 12 and 20. Well, listen to this. When the Sixers starting lineup of Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, J.J. Redick, Dario Saric, and Robert Covington play together, which is currently 586 minutes and counting, they beat teams by 20.7 points per 100 possessions. That lineup has outscored teams by 252 points this season, far and away the league's highest mark. And while the team has been less effective in the fourth quarter and has struggled closing out some games, that lineup still outscores opponents in the final quarter by a plus 5.5 over 100 possessions. Hey, what you been watching, dog?
He hasn't watched.
The reason the Sixers, right? The reason the Sixers went out and got Bellinelli and Ersan Ilyasova is because when their dominating starting lineup goes out of the game, teams catch up. That's why the Sixers blow leads every night. Well, they used to blow leads every night.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. I'll say this, and I've watched damn near every game this season. That's how I know my brother B also ain't watching, because there's no way you don't put them.
No way you would have said
five.
That. Yeah,
you don't put them, there's no way you don't put them in the top 5 because
these young boys hooping.
They can compete literally with anybody. The only issue they are having this season is the fact that they're a young team. So they tend to get up on everybody. Like everybody. It doesn't matter
every
who
night they have at least an 18-point lead, Jim. Every single night.
They jumped out on the Warriors and was smacking them, but they have trouble holding lead. I mean, they're a young team, so they make stupid decisions down the stretch, but you'll get better
turnovers.
with you'll get better with maturity or bringing in Bron, one or the other. But
never.
but the point is, these young boys can compete with pretty much anybody, and they're not even like this is before as Savard calls them, MF Doom came back. Like they're a very competitive team, man. It's interesting, man, to watch them play. They're actually also outside of the homerness, they're one of the more entertaining teams to watch.
We're gonna get deep into that later because it seems like there's a lot of people jumping on the wagon right now. But no, it's this starting five, like, and the reason, like Jimmy brought up the whole Bron thing, like one of the reasons that I'm really against that is because, I mean, you know, I always say it, like I didn't sit through 4 years of the process for LeBron to come in, wield his power on the roster, get the people out that he don't want there, which I think one of them would probably be Dario Saric, who is going to quietly become a star in this league. Dario Saric is a baller. And people, because everybody's focusing on Ben and Embiid, and they're forgetting this dude, and he's killing people every night.
Anybody that can still play in the NBA after being tortured by Jack Bauer, because he looks like he's been tortured before, like, I have nothing but respect for him.
You trying to say Jack sliced his lip?
Yo, my man look like he's been tortured, but he still be out there putting in work. Like, so you got to respect him.
Well, stick with a Skyview. Skyview said, "Yo, I watch every single Sixers game because he's a Sixers fan out in Vegas." He said, "I got bars when y'all reach that segment." No doubt. Skyview gonna tell us how good T.J. McConnell is. TJ is my dude, but Skyview think he's John Stockton.
As long as he don't bring up that one dude I think is a mutt, then we good money.
No, he think he's a mutt too. No.
Okay, all right, cool.
Me and Skyview talk during the game sometimes or after the game. He think Jared Bayless is a mutt. But that's the thing is, you think dude's a mutt. Dude is not. He's like an afterthought now. And last time he got into a game.
And
Jared Bayless ain't even on the team no more. He just got a uniform.
Yo, that's what Miz said in our group chat. He's like, y'all forgot he played for the Sixers.
Oh, well, yeah. He's just a boy with a uniform now. So, we probably, Jim, this probably,
in the beginning of the
and
season,
you can count local shows in Philly. Like, we're probably the only people that brought Jared Bayless' name up in the past 2 months.
This is true. I mean, the thing is, in the beginning of the season, he was clocking major minutes, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a choice right then, you know, but, yeah, Now they got shooters everywhere. Like Sixers, like a SWAT team out this bitch.
I think the Sixers got shooters everywhere. They got more shooters than OBH here in Philly. But nonetheless,
shout out to them though. All right, let's go to the phone line real quick before we talk about what happened while y'all were on the drive. We got the homie Tobias waiting for a minute. Tobias, what's going on, good brother? You in the war room? Roll goddamn Tide.
Roll Tide. Hey, I was going to show you that video of Dev in the room with the two-piece and churches and some shrooms. And he took any longer. The one tax season chick. But
long as you don't show my video with Stormy.
I know.
I didn't know she'd been with Trump before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but y'all do know
I wouldn't have done that.
Stormy don't mess with black men though. She's one of them racist floors. How you gonna be a racist?
I wouldn't have gone after the press. Hey, our president might have like herpes or something.
Yo, how you gonna be a racist porn star though? Like, yo, you give it up for a living.
I know. Like you get smashed for a living. You shouldn't have any vices against anybody. Like, what's wrong with you?
Hey, somewhere O.J. Simpson disappointed by that because he probably slid in her DMs. But here's the thing,
O.J.
bro. Couple of quick things. Yeah, you know with those rule changes.
I'm not black. I'm OJ.
Okay.
You know what? Come talk school football real quick. Those rule changes, though, to me, it is a dangerous game. People are gonna get hurt. Deal with it. It's like cheerleading. A lot of girls are hurt cheerleading. A lot of kids are hurt playing soccer with concussions. People are gonna get hurt. People who play this game know what they get themselves into. And I'm a big college football fan. That targeting rule when it goes to that replay slows the game up a lot. And
it gets
subjective.
Like important people thrown out of the game with no ifs, ands, or buts. Like that is corny to me.
And if you get thrown out in the second half, you missing the first half of that next game.
Right. You have to be out for a whole it's that rule is terrible.
And then I heard what Shannon Sharp said. We had the TV on at the job, and he brought up a good point about kickoffs. He had mixed feelings on it because that's how he and many players made their bones in the NFL who came from a small school, may not get on, is playing special teams in those return teams. And, so that actually gets a lot of people on. But at the same time, it's like if you get rid of that, the game still ain't going to be safer. People going to get hurt. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is.
Like, I want to see, we've already seen lots of examples of it, but I'm like, even with them addressing the rule again, I just want to see how subjective they're going to be about the whole thing because, there's something like we celebrate, and I'm saying we as in them, the people in the league, they celebrate how fast dudes can run. Like, it's big news if somebody goes to the combine and runs a 4.1, a cornerback or a safety or something like that. But this same cornerback or safety is going to be flying down the field, and on a bang-bang play, his head is going to hit the helmet of somebody else's, and you're going to toss this man out of the game. But the reason that he hit the dude, that they hit him like that most of the time is because they can't slow down on that type of a play. So you're going to celebrate his speed like we used to. It used to be worse. We used to celebrate just how nasty people were and how hard they hit. They used to make videos and all that, and now they're fronting because there's money on the line. But, yeah, you can't celebrate how fast the dude is and then expect him to be flash in his movements, as far as what he can do to pull up or to not let his helmet hit another. It's weird, man.
Yeah,
and that's true.
It's very weird, but to play devil's advocate just a little bit, the game has to evolve some way because now not only do we have the information, but everybody has the information in terms of what this stuff does to you. So I get it. We grew up watching one thing, but it kind of has to change, and I don't think they have the answers yet. They're like Sway. They don't have the answers, but they got to do something. You know what I mean?
No,
like
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Jim, because I've been a proponent. I understand the Tell the Truth movement. What the part that I was saying is weird is just how they're going to make these decisions. You know what I'm saying? You came up with the best solution a long time ago, and now I'm hearing that even catching legs. Take the helmets off. Take the helmets off. Maybe people won't run as fast because they're scared to crack their melon open.
Pretty much.
They might not run as fast because you don't want to be running a 4.1 getting your melon cracked open.
You gonna have some weirdo with a death wish trying to go viral by breaking his melon open. But if it's for my own team, so be it. But all I'm saying is, it's just interesting, man. They have to do something because honestly, outside of all the social issues and all this, I'm fearful of the game just pretty much not being here or being completely they're gonna have to do something. I just don't know what it is. When you see people,
and I can understand. Because we see a lot of plays where dudes just launch themselves and they use their helmet, but then we see several plays where they'll call the penalty when it's like
the running back lower his head.
There was no way for their helmets not to touch. Like those type of plays when you hit the face mask or something like that. Like some of those plays have to be judged better, in my opinion. Like they have to be able to subjectively say, okay, on this one, the way that the defender, bent his head down, there was no way that the helmet wasn't gonna hit. We have to be, we got to be fair about that. Like we can kind of tell when somebody does it on purpose. You know what I mean?
You're putting a lot on the shoulders of the referees to officiate these games. In full time.
They stop the game and watch 6-minute movies every other play, so they need to get it right if they're watching movies on the sideline.
I have a solution before I get on my Odell Beckham rant. The solution would be the NFL don't want to address this as guaranteed contracts. So maybe if a guy did get dinged up a little bit, he wanted to rush back because of fear of losing his job. But they don't want to talk about that though. But
now hold up, because You got to play devil's advocate on that too. And it's not
I've
that I
always
don't agree with you.
understood why they didn't do that. Yeah, you want the brothers to make money.
If you're an owner of a team, are you giving out a guaranteed contract, Tobias? Let's be honest.
Well,
as you
sport
say,
where
as
you get hurt every play.
As you say, let's be honest here.
Yeah, we're going to be honest about it, but this is where I fault the players. I don't think any owner will give a guaranteed contract, but maybe the players should stop fighting for the couple people that failed the drug test and less OTAs and worry about these guaranteed contracts, because that's the long-term health. That will help you long-term. We have to worry about rushing back. And so I don't blame any owner for doing that. It's business. But the players should have fought. I don't know.
There's literally an injury. Statistically speaking, there's an injury every 4 plays in an NFL game. If I own a team, I'm not giving no guaranteed contracts, man. I can't see it. It would become too.
Well,
costly.
you know one thing interesting, like from a historical standpoint, when you look at the league, the NFL's union has kind of been like the weakest union, like throughout history. But I think
they to take what you can get.
It's even a union.
In terms of the demographics of who plays the game, and also there's always this adage of like, we're not going to give you that because you can easily be replaced. There's maybe 10, 15 people in the league that the owners actually don't feel like can be replaced because it has like this military background. The game has like this military history where it's like, if I get a good leader or coach, we can pretty much plug anyone in at certain positions. But there's maybe a handful of guys that can't be replaced, and the league operates that way.
Well, obviously, Kirk Cousins is one of them.
Eli Manning's another one. But I'm going to kid this Odell Beckham real quick.
Kirk is getting some nice guaranteed money. Go ahead.
I mean, that's that quarterback position.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to Odell real quick. The Giants, honestly, I'm not going to lie. If someone offered Tampa Bay Mike Evans for like a first and a third, I'm like, send him out of town now. Because the thing is, with the Giants, they rebuilding. You don't want him being it's like, if you're rebuilding, what's the point of having him there? I believe a team, and if he did trade him to the Rams will have to pay Aaron Donald before they even bring him into camp, talking about paying Odell. You have to pay Aaron Donald first. But also, I think the team that should be aggressive, the Cleveland Browns, they have so many draft picks. And that they can actually really pay this guy.
In terms of what? You want to put Beckham on that team for what? Like, and then do what?
Hey, I'm talking about the Giants.
Let Tyrod Taylor light it up.
The most picks. Yeah.
Let Tyrod light it up.
Odell wants his money and his touches. Hey, but what I'm saying, like, even the Rams, I give the Rams credit for this also. They're trying to load up and win now before they have to give Jared Goff $25-30 million. And I wish more teams would take that approach and go for it before you have to pay that quarterback. Because once you pay that quarterback, it's hard to keep those people together.
That's the approach the Eagles took last year. and
you
got it done while Carson Wentz was still on his rookie deal.
You brought up Mike Evans, man. I want to tell Mike Evans you better get as much guaranteed money as possible because he just signed to be represented by the same people that run Cash Money record label. So,
like you said earlier this week, Jim, I don't understand that. Why would you sign with anything Cash Money?
They didn't pay Lil Wayne. He kissed Lil Wayne's mouth. He didn't pay him.
Yo, they don't even pay fans.
Mike Evans just signed with him, dog. So tell Mike Evans to get as much guaranteed as possible.
Yeah.
And they don't remember what happened to Ricky Williams when he signed with a New Orleans rapper.
Hey,
it was the worst contract in NFL history, man. I think they paid that man in marijuana.
The Giants, I think they come to grips. They're rebuilding. They ain't telling the whole league right now. So they just don't want. They just saying to me they want 2 first-round picks so they don't get lowballed. And it's pretty much they don't lowballers. But with all these bad quarterbacks being signed and stuff, I have one question about one quarterback in the league no one's talking about trading for. I didn't think Jacoby Brissett was terrible last year. I'm surprised the team ain't try to bring him in for like a trade, like a late-round pick, and just see what he could do with a probably a little bit better roster.
I think the reason why I think people are just going to look at him as a decent, not even decent, a really good backup. I don't think anybody's going to give him the opportunity to be a starter. So I guess they look, the Colts will hold on to him because they'll have something decent if Andrew Luck still can't come back the way he's supposed to be. But
Or
all right,
Blake
Tobias,
Bortles
man.
to start. But hey, you guys take it easy. And I found a new stat. LeBron was the first guy to score 10 points in the first 3 minutes with his hairline being in point at 75 degrees outside, and the dew point was at 30. But hey, LeBron Jordan
Tobias,
did
Shout out
that.
LeBron stat.
Hey, Tobias, I just want to say real quick, I just recognized that you said Dev is in the Sanford Arms. And I don't know if people caught that, but I definitely caught that joke because I'm very familiar with I'm very familiar with the Sanford Arms. That's the greatest TV show of all time. So I caught that joke. Just want to let you know that.
Hey, no problem. Hey, fellas, you take it easy. Keep doing what you guys doing, and don't be. I'm glad y'all ain't performing like Stephen A. Coon out there. You guys have a great day.
All right, man. Peace.
Let's be honest
Dad.
here.
Yeah.
Yo, Dad, when Sanford and Son was on TV, and it got to the point where the show probably should have went off like 2 years ago, and it was like real old. That's when Fred finally stopped being broke, and he copped this little apartment complex called the Sanford Arms. So, I mean, shout out to Fred G. Sanford. But anyway.
So that was before the days when it was like Grady show.
Yo, that's when it's like, yo, they just milking it now. Like Fred ain't even on the show. It's Sanford and Son without Sanford though.
That was like remember Martin did that though. Like Grady was the equivalent of Pam. It was like the Pam show.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yo, what are
exactly.
we doing?
Like, yo, Fred left. They straight like Grady did like major plate a person on the show. Like really, cuz like y'all just trying to milk the bread out. Anyway.
All right, we're gonna talk about.
Yeah,
Jimmy gonna tell y'all what happened while he was on the ground. We're gonna abbreviate this. You know, y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com. But if you want to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, just dial a Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. All right.
Yo, it's time to talk about what happened while you were on the grind, which is brought to you by Sports the Book. Listen, man, the greatest thing about writing Sports the Book is like the world has read it. And I can tell because some of the things I predicted or said should happen are happening, such as the G League becoming dominant in the NBA, such as pass interference. But anyway, you can get this masterpiece at sportsthebook.com or warroomsports.com. Go right to the hub. Smart people in the league of sports. Just make sure you get your copy to see what else Jim Stradamus predicted. Now let's talk about what happened. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Now listen. We just talked about football and its effect and in terms of decisions that are being made to try to postpone the killing of the game. Well, there's a player who played in Montana, and every state has like their Hall of Fame. So Montana has a Hall of Fame, and they were trying to induct Corey Wilner into the Montana Hall of Fame, but Boy said no. He was like, football has ruined his life, the time that he played in terms of head injuries or and such. And he thinks the game is unsafe. And he doesn't even want to be inducted into the Hall of Fame because he regrets playing football. Crazy.
Wow. I mean, some of these dudes really go through it after they leave this game, so you can kind of understand this whole thing. Like when you're living a terrible quality of life, when you're in constant pain, your head is throbbing every day, and you're damn near going crazy, and you know exactly why you're living this way. I mean, I can see how that can just depress you and make you regret and hate everything that you did for something that you thought back then that you loved. So, this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, like with them trying to change some of these rules.
It's why you see so many players who literally go to killing themselves. Like, they can't deal with the pain and the afterlife in football. And the crazy part is, a lot of them will tell you that it's worth it while they're under the bright lights and they have the fame. But, as fans, when new guys come in and old guys go, we say, FOH, we don't care about Junior Seau no more. He ain't playing. What are you doing for me? And next thing you know, they can't deal with that. It's not worth it anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Did you see some of the stuff that he's going through? He said he has depression, memory problems. He suffers from mood swings, and he seeks to isolate himself. And then he said recently his thumb has started twitching. Like, yo, what's wrong with his thumb? Like, this is a brutal game, man. This is a quote from him. He says, "I'm 49 years old, depressed to the nth degree, but have a lot of money. And some people might say it's still worth it. I just tell them to watch what they wish for. If someone could have explained all of this to me when I was 14, I would have given it all back in a heartbeat. I would have wished for something else. That's powerful, man, because you know how the dudes love to play this game.
That's woo.
My man got a bunch of money and he's depressed because he don't even know why he's depressed. He just wake up depressed. Like I have a feeling that if football doesn't change, right, and we continue, and let's say it eventually goes away, I think like maybe 50, 80 years from now, when none of us are here, cats are going to look back at the history books and be like, yo, y'all did that? Sort of how like when we look at history now, right, and we watch something, we see like gladiators who fought in the Coliseum. Yeah. And they fight to death, and we look at them like, yo, what was wrong with y'all? Like, y'all dudes are savages.
To them, that was just football. That was just their football. Like,
pretty much.
I mean, they're going to look at that. They're going to look at boxing like that, MMA, wrestling, if it's real.
No, but the crazy
all of this stuff. Think of like, so y'all put mini pillows on your hands and beat the shit out of each other. Like,
but here's the crazy
with no
part
shirts
about
on.
boxing and MMA. The crazy part about boxing and MMA is like studies show that it's actually safer than football. And that's crazy.
I mean, it has
when you
to
think
be,
about
you know why though? Because this is a big misconception that I always try to tell people. Like, they find out somebody has a concussion, and they might look at a certain player and like, well, he didn't even get hit in his head. That's how, the brain is set up in a different way. If these are 300-pound dudes hitting each other at full speed on every play, like, you don't necessarily have to get hit directly in your head to get a brain injury. And I think that's the biggest misconception out there. Like, especially after you've already had a concussion or two, then you're already fragile up there. So, you get hit like that in the body wherever, your head is still snapping back, it's still getting a part of the contact, even if it's not direct contact. So that's the misconception that people have. So fist to the head versus 300-pound dudes running their bodies into you, I can see how football is just worse. You're just throwing yourself into people.
One thing I can say for sure is that I'm cool with it. I respect the brain. I love brain. And I love brain so much that I don't want to, Anyway. Let's move on. Let's move on to basketball.
Salute the brain.
Salute the brain. Listen, let's move on to basketball.
Don't do nothing don't do nothing to mess up the neck either.
Protect the neck. First things first, man. You're messing with the worst. Listen, anyway.
Shout out to the Woo.
Listen, man, a G League player, and we should be laughing as we say this, but this is a sad story, man. A G League player died after collapsing on the court. And I felt so sorry for the story. He was a young boy. He was 26 years old. My man was in the G League still, chasing his hoop dreams. And he's no longer with us. And I saw a lot of guys in the NBA, shout out, because here's one thing about basketball, which is interesting, right? Like, people make it at different levels, whether it's high school, junior high, college, but hoopers have like a fraternity amongst hoopers. Like, ball is essentially life. So cats recognize his love for the game, even though he wasn't playing in the NBA. So you saw a lot of them like, damn. Rest in power.
No, hoop is definitely life, and it's how you like, if you've been a part of that, it may be how you've met a lot of people in your life. I'm like, look, Jim, like, they still adding us to like hoopers groups on social media.
Absolutely.
We ain't hooped in like decades. Like, seriously.
I'm afraid to go. I'm gonna tear something about going to hoop again. But the thing is,
but people remember that. People know where they know you from. It's a respect thing.
Real quick statistics. I think I met about 87% of people I call acquaintances or friends through basketball. Like, I have no proof of it being that high, but think about most of the people who were like it's definitely Palmer. It's definitely Palmer. But think about this thing. Most of the dudes that you built, even if you know people, the ones that you built the closest bond with are guys that you play ball with, and it's basketball, not really football. Guys you play basketball with are somebody, even if it's not in any sort of organized, even if it's in a rec league or dudes that you hoop with, you build a certain bond with. So when basketball players see other basketball players go down like this, you start to be like,
Hashtag.
Yeah, man. So definitely rest in peace to Zeke Upshaw. Like Jimmy said, 26, man. He collapsed on the court during a game on Saturday. he didn't pass right away. He didn't pass until Monday, but the autopsy showed he had cardiac abnormalities. So, this immediately, especially guys like us from Philly, I mean, it was a national story too, but he was a hero in Philly. This immediately makes you think of Hank Gathers and his story.
Absolutely.
Collapsing on the court. If there's any solace, and you don't want to try to pick any solace, but we know how dudes love the game when they're still fighting for it. Like, if you're in the G League, you definitely love the game. Yeah. I guess if there's any solace, you could say he went out doing the thing that he loved.
Doing what he loved.
He's definitely way too young. Definitely way too young.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And you know what, Dev? You're absolutely right. The first thing I thought of was like, damn, R.I.P. Big Bang Hank. Like, a lot of cats who aren't from Philly don't understand, like, the Hank Gathers thing. Like, and it's funny because I've seen cats from other cities who have, like, similar stories of guys that were supposed to make, like, what's the guy in Chicago, Benji? Like, I heard about his story later, but talking to those guys, it's kind of like the same affinity we get. Listen, people, when I was a kid, Hank Gathers and Bo Kimball were like so big, like heroes and stars in the city that this is the time when I was a little kid, and we would go to watch them play in high school. It was literally like the Sixers was playing. Like, who cares? Let's go watch Hank and Bo because they were that nice. Not to mention some of the Sixers stunk, but that's either here nor there. But
had to watch something.
But the thing is, anytime something like this happens, the first thing I think of is Hank, because I'm like, yo, what would Hank have done if he went to the next level? Because he dominated in college.
Yeah, he dominated. Yeah.
That man gave Shaq.
Shout out to Shaq who got some of that smoke.
Yo, he gave Shaq all kinds of smoke when they played. I mean, Shaq gave him smoke too, though. Nobody was playing defense that game, but still. But anyway,
that game was just
a
5-alarm blaze.
Yo, rest in power to that, man. That's kind of a sad story. We talk about a football player basically saying FOH with the game, and then a G League player dying, man. So let's talk about something more positive, and that's Johnny Football, the new Johnny Football, who saved. He spoke out.
Like people love you now, Johnny.
Yeah, you on our team now, Johnny. Johnny is official BLM, not. But Johnny spoke out for Kaepernick and said stop comparing him, and Kaepernick, what he's doing, transcend sports, and he's putting in work in the community, and basically did everything positive he could say about Kaepernick, which probably sealed his fate. Although I heard after that the Patriots are still talking about giving him a shot, which is just wait for Austin to tell you what that's really about. And Deb, get the bell ready. But,
all right. Well, even before I do that, let me read because he had, let me read his. It was like a series of tweets. It was like 5 tweets where he talked about it. I'll just read them all as a paragraph. He said, "This will probably cause an uproar, but I'm tired of the Kaepernick versus myself comparisons and anger. Cap is doing amazing things right now, changing lives and donating millions of dollars. His impact off the field from a societal standpoint is legendary and straight admirable. Standing up for people who often don't get heard and for a race that continually deals with problem after problem in this country for centuries, capital centuries. This world we live in is absolutely crazy, and I believe what he's doing has an amazing impact. In my opinion, the guy still has a lot in the tank, but it's not my place to say what he wants to do with his career. All I can speak for is myself and trying to turn my life around from the depths it was in. God bless and have a great Saturday. I rock with you, Kaepernick. You've always been good to me, and I appreciate that. All the best in your journey, my friend, wherever that takes you." So shout out to Johnny. He was definitely sober when he wrote that. Salute to Johnny for it. That was definitely a sober post. So yeah, B, you want to offer any thoughts, like Jimmy said, on the reason why even after this, what you would think is a death sentence, why, teams are still considering Johnny Football and they're not considering the person that he's actually, defending?
Being compared to.
And Eric Reed, who stood up for him, isn't getting a look. And I would say Eric Reed is better at his position than probably Johnny Football and Kaepernick is at theirs.
Eric Reed, as it is, not to take away from Johnny, but Eric Reed is presently ranked in the top 20 safeties in the National Football League. Presently, as of the 2017 season. So Johnny Football can be basically outside of football, a drug addict, and in life in shambles, but he's going to get a shot before Colin Kaepernick, who stood up for black people in the U.S. So if that's not white supremacy, I don't know what is, but salute to Johnny Football, man. Salute to Johnny Football.
That was some powerful tweeting. Powerful tweeting on Johnny's part, man. I'm back
Y'all
with
think
that.
Johnny wrote that? You think Johnny wrote that, or he had a ghostwriter?
Not really.
No, I think Johnny's smart. I think he's just a drug addict.
Yo, I think
he's a smart, he's smart dope fiend.
I think Electronica wrote that shit.
I think either Sauce Money or Skills wrote that, dog.
Ghostwriter dog.
So here's what's funny about ghostwriters in hip hop, and this is a little sidebar. It's like, everybody who says they ghostwrite, the only person they'll ever admit to ghostwriting for is either Puff or Dre. And I guess that's because Puff and Dre don't care that you tell. But everybody and their mom has written
because they got the reputation.
Puff and Dre don't even have that many songs that have that many ghostwriters.
Yeah, so you saying people be lying on their bars?
Albums for them boys.
That's be lying.
It's sort of like the same amount of people that were supposed to be in the car with Biggie and Tupac. Like everybody was supposed to be with them that night. Anyway,
that grows every day.
That list
Ray J's supposed to be in there.
But anyway,
everybody's supposed to be riding with Big. Man, that was a big ass truck.
Some more positivity, man. Boogie Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins. We all know what happened to brother Stephen Clark out on the West.
More BS.
Sad story, man. They still killing us. But DeMarcus Cousins offered to pay for the entire funeral. So he stepped up, even though he's not even out there no more. Shout to Boogie.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Shout out to Boogie. Also want to shout out Matt Barnes, because I think he was a part of those same efforts. They both reached out to the family to pay for the funeral expenses. I'm assuming, or at least I'm hoping, that the family took them up on that. Not even just for the money reasons. Let these brothers do something positive. If they want to do something positive, let them be known for something. Brian get all the credit.
It's interesting, right?
let Boogie get some of that credit.
Let Boogie get some of that credit, because Brian does his thing, but this is amazing when you still see athletes to this day who say I don't want to get involved in that or lend my voice to this. But you see a lot more activism and a lot more philanthropic efforts from these players than we've seen in the past, which I think is an overall great thing. But it's interesting because shout out to the brother Professor Carlton Jones. I was talking to him today. He's a professor in the Philly area, but he was telling me, he said it's interesting because with athletes, you always see athletes who say, man, if I was around, with Jim Brown and Bill Russell, I'd be doing this. And it's you have the opportunity now to do things. So in 20 years from now, you'll be like, damn, I didn't do that. Or you ever see someone who says, if I was alive on the civil rights movement, I would have been doing this. No, you wouldn't.
You'd have been. People act like it was easy. If it was easy, we wouldn't dwell on that part of the history so much. It wasn't easy.
I think
here's some stuff y'all might not. Go ahead, B. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I think it's funny because, like you say, they have the opportunity now, and there is more of an opportunity to reach more ears if you can look at the positive and upside of social media, which we don't talk about. For the most part, it's only the ratchet and the negative, but you have more chance to be impactful and reach more ears and eyes than Jim Brown, John Carlos, and Muhammad Ali did in their day and time. And now more than ever, because of the size of the bags that these guys get, they're afraid of that bag being removed. So they quiet.
They are, but you know what, though? That's the negative part. But on the positive side, and I think I was talking to Dev about this a little while ago, which is it's weird to say because you're living in it. But I think overall, with all the negative stories and the way the world has been, I think we're kind of going through, to try to keep in the positive mood, we're going through somewhat of a black renaissance in terms of the athletes becoming more socially active, giving back. Also, just the average Joe. There are more people who are becoming more politically inclined, becoming quote unquote more woke. When you look at the content we consume, whether it's TV, music, or media, but I think it's hard for us to see that because we're in it. But I think like we'll get a good documentary maybe 15, 20 years from now about about this time period, and we'll say, damn.
Well, people wake up when they're forced to, and we know back in those days people were forced.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
I think the time in between, people got comfortable thinking like, okay, all of that stuff worked. We're in a good place now. Now more than ever, we're realizing we were never in a good place, and stuff is going what we perceive to be as backwards. So now it's waking people up a little bit.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is we got fat while everybody saw.
But before we move on, since we talking about that, I just want to give Cousins his props because he does a whole lot of things that probably never get mentioned. All people talk about is his attitude and antics on the court, even though he's a baller. But even though he's been out, he was awarded the first off-season NBA Cares Community Assist Award back in October for his work in Alabama, New Orleans, Sacramento, and South Africa. He also paid for the funeral expenses of Sacramento high school football player Jalon Clavo, who was shot and killed in 2015 while picking up food before a home game with 4 of his teammates. And then they go on to say that, the same thing about Barnes. Like Matt Barnes, besides, trying to beat coaches up, he's a pretty socially active player as well. He's planning a march this coming Saturday.
So much.
So, yeah.
But here's the thing, though. These guys, whether they know it or not, will probably be remembered or appreciated more for these works than what they do on the court because when you directly impact someone's life like that, they're going to go and tell that story to everyone. Like when I was this age, it's funny because I know people that like when Jackie Robinson, he left a scholarship fund, right? The Jackie Robinson scholarship. People may or may not know about it, but I know several people that have gotten that, and they talk about that. Not that it will ever overpower what he did on the baseball field, because got his own movie with Chadwick Boseman. But anyway, but the point is, I hear so many people talk about Thurgood Marshall and these guys and some of the things they did personally for them, or even with their scholarship, that you can see how that impacted them and how they impact others because it impacted them. I didn't even know Cousins was putting all this work in. Dad just read out a list. I'm like, he did that too? Yo, how you active in Alabama?
No, not many people are aware of his his social commitments. And I salute him. I was aware of Matt Barnes' story a little bit. I find his story kind of fascinating. And for all the tough guy antics on the court, dude is highly articulate and fairly intelligent. He got bad taste in women, but it is what it is.
She must got that fire though. So Derek Fisher to rip it off.
Fisher a noodle.
Got that fire.
But I respect both of you gentlemen.
She must got that inelastic product though, because
Shout out to Stringer in his econ class. University of Baltimore Harbor. I don't know. Wherever you got it from.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Stringer Bell anyway. All right. So let me do some quick birthday shout outs before we move on to some other stuff in the world of sports, namely some hoops. There's been a lot going on in the world of hoops. A lot of that is revolving around our Philadelphia 76ers. But before we do that, quick birthday shout-outs. Jennifer Capriati turns 42. We are getting old. Billy Bean of MLB fame, but, hey, he's probably more famous as an executive because there was a movie written about him, Moneyball, who ushered in this super analytics era and baseball. They're celebrating the Oakland A's even though they still haven't won a championship, but still got a movie. Shout out to Billy Bean, who's 52 years old. Yay! Earl Campbell, who has to either have CTE or have given out CTE to several players turned 63. No, real talk. It's a real question because I don't even have it listed here. And, you know, a lot of stuff went on in, 2015? Was it 2015? No, it was 2016 where everybody died. Earl Campbell's still alive, right?
I don't know.
I'm just making sure.
About him.
Because of Earl Campbell, not even making a joke, if he wasn't, I wouldn't be shocked. But he is still alive.
I remember having a long conversation about him. I don't know if that was his birthday as well or you know. I don't know.
Yeah. He's still alive. Shout out to Earl. He's 63 years old.
I ain't being funny, but there's parts of his body that aren't. I said I ain't being funny. There's parts of his body that aren't alive.
Oh yeah, that's why we were talking about him, because at that college game, he walked out to midfield and it took him like 40 minutes because his body is just
got no knees.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know we talked about him for a reason.
Yeah, that's why I was nervous because same here, Jimmy. Like I thought about it, like we talked about Earl fairly recently, and I hope it wasn't like the bad news that everybody gets at some point. So Earl's still alive. We didn't mean to scare y'all. 63 years old today. Walt Clyde Frazier. I know he's still alive because the only reason I watch Nick broadcast is to hear Walt Clyde Frazier say big words and rhyme all throughout the game. He's 73 years old. And he's still dishing and swishing. He's still dishing and swishing and all of that good stuff. Indubitably.
The perplexity. I got an interesting story, but I'll let you finish the birthday first. Go ahead.
All right. Well, last one. Rest in peace. Shout out to Cy Young. That name should speak for itself. The winningest pitcher in MLB history. He was born March 29th, 1867. Yo, shout out to HU. Bull was born the year HU was born. And he died November 4th, 1955. He lived a long life. But we want to give a War Room salute to all of these folks on their birthdays. Salute. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Yo,
what's up, Jim?
Just a couple quick stories. One about the bull Billy Beane. Like, so a lot of people know, like, one of the things I do in life is a lot of analytics when it comes to real estate, right? So I've actually met the bull and seen him speak before, because within the field of analytics in general, this boy is like a legend. So I went to a joint with him. It was specific to real estate, but they invited him as a keynote speaker. And this dude has it's weird because the average person doesn't even know who he is, but within the field of say data and analytics, this boy is like Michael Jordan, yo. And it's all because of the work that he did for baseball. Because for a lot of those dudes who were deep into that, he made analytics popular. So he's like a god within that field.
That's funny though, because he started out by hiring analytics nerds, and now he get all the credit.
Yeah. He gets all the credit. Yeah, exactly, because he put them on the map. Now, the other thing is about the whole thing with Walt Clyde Frazier, which I find interesting, is because he's been doing Knicks games so long, a lot of people don't recognize that he's a Knicks legend in terms of a player.
Right. Last time they won a chip, he got off in Game 7.
Nobody does.
Yo, just this past week, I was in a bar in Houston. It was these young boys was talking about football, and they said, the announcer Terry Bradshaw, right? So it was an old dude there, and the old dude snapped on him. He's the greatest quarterback of all. Obviously, he's from Pittsburgh. They were like, no, we're not talking about no quarterback. We're talking about the announcer. They had no idea that Terry Bradshaw. These guys were football fans. They had football jerseys on. They were football. They had no idea Terry Bradshaw played. And I'm like, that's
4
crazy.
Super Bowls.
For one, that's crazy.
Young people.
How's that possible? And two, we're getting so old now that the guys that are announcing that play, cats don't even recognize them as playing.
Right. Damn, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
And shout out to Walt Clyde Frazier's restaurant, because I've been there in New York. That joint kind of fire. So shout out to that.
It's serendipitous. It's
serendipitous.
Walt Clyde Frazier, indubitably.
Is it better than OLG or no?
It looked better than OLG. OLG. OLG, man, is where you go if you want some ignorant ass Southern food, down in Georgia they fry everything. So at OLG, I had as an appetizer, I had fried deviled eggs. Yo. Fried double egg.
They be frying Reese's cups. Like, give me a fried Reese's cup. So shout out to everybody down south that fry everything, yo. Shout out to y'all.
Right. Especially Georgia. They just fry everything. So, no, like his is a little more upscale. You can go there and get a good steak or something like that. You go to LLG to just get some ignorant soul food. All right. But shout out to all those people, man. And Jim about to get us into this hoops talk. But before he does that, y'all can check out our website, warroomsports.com. If you want to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, and we see you on the line, Rob, we'll holler at you in a minute. Dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted, but if you already listen from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk.
Yes, sir. You know, it's funny because a lot of people, Barkley's becoming so far removed from his playing career that a lot of people are forgetting just how good he was, which is crazy.
Yeah, I saw people disrespecting him today. You know, they had one of those 90s versus the 2000s lineup, and they had Barkley as the small forward on the lineup. They had LeBron as a small forward in the other one, and somebody went on to say how he would totally destroy Barkley, and Barkley wouldn't be able to get any buckets. And y'all forgot, man. Charles Barkley was that dude. Yeah. I know he says stupid stuff on TV, but
people forget. Like, it's crazy how people just forget, man. Like, you know, we gonna be like them old heads soon. That, you know, the old heads that talk about Bill Russell and Wilt. We gonna be like them pretty soon, yo. Anyway,
we're gonna be like the boy you just talked about in Houston, snapping on people. What you say? Getting all in people's conversations.
I think part of it is because we were in the bar and he had a couple of drinks, but and they weren't even in the same conversation with him. He was at the bar. They were at the table. He heard
That's
him.
what I'm saying. We're going to be jumping in people's conversations like, boy, you don't know what the hell you talking about.
Pretty much, yo. Yeah, man. But anyway, man, it's time to talk about basketball. This is brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. If you need a website for your business, and if you're in business, you definitely need a website, and you don't need a Wix website because you are playing yourself. The only people who use Wix websites are ladies of the evening. But if you want to run a legit business, here's what you got to do.
Shout out to Stormy.
Stormy may have one. But if you want a legit website, you need to hit up Digital Extreme Technology. You can call them at 267-205-4203 or at digitalextremetech.com. Tell them that the War Room Sports sent you, and you shall get a discount. Now, let's talk hoops, gentlemen. Play that Triple H music.
Shout out to Rock the Bells Radio. Cut the check, hello.
Yo. Anyway, listen, man. One of the greatest nicknames ever, MF Doom, Markelle Fultz, rejoins the Sixers. And what do you guys think about that? Does that make the Sixers that much deeper? And can they compete in the Eastern Conference?
Felt great about it before he turned himself into a battering ram against his own teammates. But no, it's an interesting week for the Sixers, man, because they kind of sprung it on everybody. They had left the decision up to him. Whenever you're ready, and just one morning earlier in the week, he said he was ready. First, I guess we saw the little inspirational words that he tweeted out on the gram, so I guess that got people thinking. Because I know in the group chat we were like, "Well, what does it mean?" And then a few hours after that, they announced that he was going to play. He in that first game, right? He played pretty well, and it made me happy because we live in this culture of immediacy. The dude had obviously a serious problem with his shoulder, which started messing with his confidence a little bit. And there were people out there that I spoke to every day, like, yo, this dude is done. He's a bust. I'm like, yo, he's played 4 NBA games and he was injured in each one. He's a bust. Celtics got the Sixers with highway robbery. I still think Fultz is going to be better than Wilson.
Stop listening to the masses on him because exactly what you've seen. He and Lonzo Ball. Now, admittedly, because of his dad, I'm trying to see Lonzo Ball end up in the center of Kyrie Irving's flat Earth. But in it, like objectively, I'm like every game, literally game by game. If Lonzo has a bad game, oh my God, he's the worst ever. If he has a great game, no, he's going to be magic. It literally goes on game by game. And then with Markelle Fultz, it was almost the same thing. I was like, all right, he's got a terrible injury, obviously. I'm concerned, but how are we looking at this kid saying 2 years from now he's not going to be the number one pick, or 4 years from now he's not going to be one of the top guards just based on this injury? As bad as it looks, like people literally said that he's one of the worst busts ever, and I'm like,
like they were already making lists. Yeah, it's Markelle, it's Greg Oden. I'm like, yo, he played 4 games, all injured.
All I want to say is, man, shout out to Bill Walton, because Bill Walton would do that from play to play. Yo, you make one play, Bill Walton be like, yo, you're the greatest player ever. Yo, the very next play, he'd be like, oh, God, he's the worst small forward in the history of the game. He did it from play to play, let alone game to game. My question to you guys is, with Markelle Fultz, how many games do you have to play before you're ineligible to win Rookie next year, Rookie of the Year?
I don't know, because I thought he was ineligible. Because somebody asked me that the other day, like, why didn't they just hold him back and let him go for Rookie of the Year next year? But I think he was already ineligible. Like, did they give Julius Randle his rookie year back? Because he was in the first game of the season when he got hurt. I'm not sure if they counted that or not. I guess we got to look at his numbers. They may have given him his, but I thought once you started the regular season, like, that it was pretty much it. But I could be wrong, because I know when like the other guy, like, Ben Simmons, it was a preseason thing. Embiid never got into a regular season game. Who else did that? Blake Griffin. His happened in the preseason, so they gave him his season back. I don't know. I have to look up Julius Randle and see if they gave it to him.
Okay.
And check the Game Time group too, because I think Casey Mack, he's been offering some opinions. Casey Mack be checking up after us, make sure we saying the right stuff.
Yeah, Casey Mack. Casey Mack.
He's our producer outside of the game. No. I can answer you now, yo. Julius Randle's 2014-15 season says 1 game. So once you start the regular season, that's it. So his first season in the league, he averaged 2 points, and that's it. 1 turnover, because he only played 14 minutes. That is crazy. Like, my man didn't last 1. So I guess that's what yeah, that's crazy. So, yeah, I guess if you make it out of the preseason and you actually play in a regular season game, then you don't get that season back. So Markelle looked pretty good. I mean, he started off a little shaky, missed a couple shots. His very first play was a turnover. But in 14 minutes, he got like 13 shots up, went for like 5 for 13. The impressive thing to me is how quickly he racks up assists.
Definitely isn't bad.
In 14 minutes, he had 10 points, 8 assists, something like 4 or 5 rebounds, and, got up 13 shots. So you got up 13 shots and you dished out 8 assists.
That's Lonzo.
Here's the thing.
Average.
Here's the thing, right?
Right. He did that in 14 minutes off the bench. And not a 14 straight. Like, he played in like 5-minute increments. And
even when he was having a mental breakdown and was like drawing at the free throw line, he still was getting to the free throw line. So he shows the ability to get to the cup, even when he was like, his brain was somewhere else. He had a relaxed brain, but so I mean, he was the first pick for a reason. Like, outside of the Sixers, everybody had him like listed as the top guy. So
right.
That was for.
But you see how everybody doubted that afterwards, Jim? Everybody turned into a genius after that. Well, I didn't have him as the first pick. Yes, you did. Shut up. Everybody had him as the first pick. Like everybody knew what the draft order was going to be. The whole time we talked about Lonzo Ball going to the Lakers had the second pick. So, like, we knew who was going with the first pick. So, people kill me, man, with the hindsight.
Even with, like, the whole situation with Greg Oden. Like, Greg Oden, when he played, could play. And the fact is he just couldn't play, because of injury. But he was, like, the games he played in the league, they did his thing. And, listen, man, guys get hurt. But you can't really – it's kind of sad because even a guy like Sam Bowie had an okay career. But it's like when you're expected to do whatever you do. And when you go before guys who end up becoming all-time legends,
I mean, you go in between Dream and Jordan, like the expectations are crazy.
My man literally went in between Dream and Jordan. Like, how you? What do you
went between Dream and Jordan? There's nothing else. Yeah, you went between Dream and Jordan. You know, before Jordan, before Barkley, before, you know what I mean? You know, the expectations just rose,
and now you're a NASCAR announcer.
Yo, Sam Bowie? Are you talking about the other boy?
Yeah, who?
Nah, I think Sam Bowie is a NASCAR announcer.
You sure you ain't talking about that?
No, you're talking about the boy from Cleveland, Brad Daugherty.
No. Yeah, what's wrong with you, man?
I gotta relax.
Yo, be also on that lane right now. He on that lane.
Sam Bowie's best season was like 15-8. But
yo, here's my thing.
These days, that's an all-star center.
If I'm, he get $100 million these days. If I'm Sam Bowie, I'm just gonna run with the fact that I was drafted before like Barkley and before Jordan for the rest of my life. Like, you realize I was drafted before them, right? Like, you gotta run with that.
What else he got?
Run with.
That's the highlight of his life, yo. That's all he got.
You gotta run with that.
Yeah. But no, like
I think
saying,
it's
like,
funny, Jimmy. I think it's funny that you bring up Greg. I think it's funny you bring up Greg Oden, because every time that I've really paid attention to him play, I saw something special. Like, not to say he was going to be a perennial All-Star or Hall of Famer, but I definitely see why he was taken where he was taken. He could
grab rebounds. Defensively, he was nice, and I mean, he just looked old as hell, but he could play ball. Like, he could definitely play ball.
That's why his body gave in, because he was older than they said he was.
Yo, he was 106.
He was the opposite of Benjamin Button.
But I'm telling you, man, like, if we took a list of guys who, like, you know, we could probably put a list together of guys who were just amazing that got injured, and we could probably come up with a team that'll win the chip. When you talk about the Grant Hills, when you talk about the Penny Hardaway.
Who was the guard?
You know,
who was the guard recently that played for
Per 36 in his rookie year, Bull would have averaged 15 and almost 12. 15 and 12 per 36 minutes.
That's crazy.
Greg Oden. As a rookie.
That's crazy.
Who was that guard? Brandon Roy. Yo, I've never said this, but like I was a Brandon Roy supporter. Like, it had me cutting onions and staring at the ceiling when I found out he couldn't play.
The all-injury team?
Well, here's my question, Dev. Who is the all-injury GOAT? Who's the all-injury GOAT? Now, we know it's a table of guys. If you had to come off your head with the all-injury GOAT, who's the all-time injured GOAT?
I think it got to be Grant Hill.
Bernard King.
Shit, Grant Hill still made the damn Hall. Grant Hill still got in the Hall of Fame.
I think Grant Hill and Penny are right there. Like, because Penny was that guy too, though.
Yeah, I think Grant was better than Penny, though. Penny was more flashy. He was a point, yeah. You remember Grant Hill was like the triple-double master. Young. Grant used to give Mike and Scotty both fits. He used to give Mike and Scotty fits.
Yeah, he did.
It's a game on YouTube, and I knew that because my nerd ass sat and watched the whole game on YouTube of Grant Hill giving Michael Jordan the business. I mean, Mike was giving it right back, Paul. Mike gave it right back, Paul, but Grant wasn't scared at all. He gave him everything.
Penny's game was just way prettier than Grant's. Grant Hill's game was awkward looking to me, but he got it done.
Yeah, he looked out of control.
Like
his crossover looked like a turnover waiting to happen, but he just went right by you. Which feet lies on?
I don't count Grant. I don't count.
Remember, Grant was like the leading vote getter in the All-Star game for a few years running while Michael Jordan was still in the league.
Damn, talk to these niggas. Yo, Grant was that dude. Yo, Grant might be the good. You right, Grant. You right. Grant the injured.
Grant still ended up playing like 16 years and could ball. Like,
I mean, that's because he rested like 5 years in the middle, but.
He did take 5 years off.
When you rest like 5 years, you can. No, but the thing is too, he ruined his career. He ruined his career doing something they wouldn't do these days. So they probably look at him as a cautionary tale. Remember, he ruined that. The ankle got worse because he kept trying to play on it in the playoffs, where dudes then would have been like, "I'm good."
LeBron and them would have taken 3 years off and saved those.
No, you can't put LeBron in that category because LeBron don't get hurt. LeBron on that limitless.
That's true.
Yeah, LeBron don't get hurt for more than 3 minutes.
LeBron will look like he got hit by a car, and you like, LeBron's finally hurt. And he'll take one play off.
And Jim, after they get him, after he lay on the floor for like a minute and a half of those 3 minutes, then they take him over to the bench. That's like two players, and he's holding on to their shoulders so they can limp him off to the bench. Then he'll sit on the bench for another 45 seconds, leaning back with his face all in pain, and then he'll get up and check back in and then dunk on somebody.
Yo, that's because when he's doing that, they're sneaking him that limitless pill is being snuck into his system. That's what they're doing.
Right. And if the few times that he got hurt and ran back into the locker room, he just had to take a piss.
Yo.
and get shots.
They say give Bron a Scooby snack, and he right back in there.
Real quick, because we didn't even get to the Sixers in general. They've been getting a lot of attention lately. Like the question is, because there's a lot of people out there that are saying they think the Sixers might be able to beat every team in the Eastern Conference. Like they wouldn't be shocked if that happened. Now, there's rumors floating around that Joel Embiid may have broken his orbital bone. I hope those are just rumors. But full strength, this team has looked great lately. The schedule has been favorable, but they held their own against the hard part of the schedule prior to the All-Star break, so you can't knock them now for punishing a bunch of teams that they're supposed to beat. But at this point, I'm not going to jump out the window. I'm still not seeing them winning over Cleveland just because LeBron is going to do his, turn into the Incredible Hulk thing in the playoffs. Then Toronto, on paper, you would look at the Sixers like they should be able to beat Toronto, but the matchups in the regular season, like it just doesn't seem like we match up well with those guys. Anybody else in the East? I think they have a chance. Boston, we don't know what Kyrie's status is going to be. So I think they got a chance against everybody else.
Boston's done.
So if you can kind of go and avoid one of those two teams that I talked about, they could find themselves. They could, but the fact that they're young and dumb, might be the reason that they don't find themselves in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The future
are jumping on now.
Right. Because that's the only knock on a team is that they're young and they don't play smart sometimes down the stretch, but they can ball pretty much with anyone. So I just want to say, rest in peace to my season tickets that I let go while they were going through the process. There's no way I can get them back at this point. Like they're gone for good.
Expensive as hell now. You talking about season tickets. I've been looking on StubHub trying to find a single game to take the boy to. I'm like, I can't afford this.
And the funny thing is the Sixers organization used to call me like once every 2 days when the Sixers suck. They're trying to give me the t-shirt.
Me and the dude were on first name basis. I'm like, cuz, stop calling.
They don't even bother me no more. Like, I call the boy now. He's like, new phone, who this?
Like, they don't need us now.
Like 3 years ago, they paid Dev and I like $100 a piece to go to a game. Now,
and that's crazy though, because I couldn't hold on because it's like, when you get in season tickets and they were throwing out some of the lineups they were throwing out in the middle of like a Wednesday when you got other stuff you could be doing, you get angry. Like, come on, man, what am I paying for this for? You know what I mean? Next thing I know,
especially Jim, when you have a lady, you can't justify that. You can't justify that. When your money is just not your money anymore, you can't justify that fence, man. Like, you're going to watch what?
They got that ping pong ball to give fault. I tried to make a phone call the next day. The ball was like, who is this again? I'm like, damn, you was just calling me 48 hours. Anyway,
hey, our bad, Rob, that we didn't get to you, man. Shout out to Skyview. He said he's been a Sixers fan since he grew up in Jersey in the early 70s. Big up to Mo Cheeks for the Hall of Fame bid. Skyview, I promise we're going to put this earlier in the show next week. We're going to talk about this whole Sixers thing because the playoff chase will still be going on next week when we do the show. So we're going to get to this and all the other topics we wanted to hit on.
Shout out to Mo Cheeks, because Mo Cheeks to spend time in some of the same adult establishments I did back in the day.
Mo Cheeks,
you know what I mean? So,
get Mo.
but I'm gonna leave it at that. You know what I mean? I promise you I won't put out there, some of these stories I
It
could.
ain't an auntie in Philly who wasn't on Mo Cheeks' jock back in the day and wouldn't have gave him the buck.
Oh, I know plenty of aunties did get. Anyway, let me shut up. Man. I ain't trying to get Mo Cheeks in no trouble, man. You know what I mean? Anyway,
get Mo Cheeks.
He got Mo Cheeks. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody who chimed in. Skyview, Kevin, Casey, Mac, everybody. Rob, we apologize. And those other ones we couldn't get to, we apologize for that. But listen, and also special thanks to Gus Griffin for coming and giving us his investment pick. But tune in next week. We're going to talk about NCAA, more hoops, everything going on. NFL, pre-draft coverage, the NBA playoff race, pretty much anything. Don't forget, WarRoomSports.com is the hub to find everything, all of our social media links, any sort of content we put out. Anything can be found at WarRoomSports.com. You can also buy sports the book at WarRoomSports.com. So everything is at WarRoomSports.com. So until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chimps on top.
War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323 working 0012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, TJ, Stop Back, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.